Hello everybody and welcome back to the new VR news. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your one channel for everything VR related. Today, we have a lot of topics to go over, including lots of new incoming VR games, AR applications for the Oculus Quest, some cool looking haptic gloves, and a not so cool sharp decline in the VR player base. We'll discuss all this in today's video, but if you want to jump around, there are timestamps available in the description. Okay, so let's not waste any more time and jump right into this video, starting off with some bad news. Now, one of my most anticipated upcoming titles, After the Fall, has yet again been delayed. After the Fall was originally scheduled to release in 2020, but was delayed until summer of 2021, and now it's been pushed back to later this year. The original Oculus Quest version is also delayed to sometime in 2022. As a 4-person, cross-platform co-op title, Vertigo Games has to make sure that they nail the release on all platforms. While I'm definitely disappointed by the delay, I'm completely okay to wait for something that has a more polished release. Recent VR games have neglected some platforms, and I definitely do not want to see that happen here. So if I have to wait a few extra months for that 4-person co-op VR Left 4 Dead style shooter experience I'm looking for, I'm completely okay with that. While we're discussing delays and rocky launches, we have to mention the new Immersion update for Larcenauts. Now, I'm actually a big fan of Larcenauts, and it's good to see some new updates, but these should have been included at launch. So we now have two-hand weapon handling, multiple different reload options, and the Steam version and sprinting was previously patched, but it's worth mentioning here. I find the inclusion of manual reloads a bit questionable. I don't know who's willing to sacrifice efficiency in the name of increased immersion, but I know it was something players asked for. This should be limited to a specific game mode, where manual reload is forced onto all players. Regardless, it's nice to see Larcenauts push past their rocky start and continue to improve on this already good game. Speaking of games that continue to improve over time, the Oculus Store is currently running a bundle deal on 2 of my favorite shooters. For the next 3 days, you can get HyperDash and Blaston for only $22.99. Blaston is an amazing 1v1 shooter with some truly unique mechanics and a little splash of bullet hell thrown in. And HyperDash is a fast-paced 5v5 arena shooter. This is a great deal, and you'll definitely get your money's worth. And while we're talking about great deals, in preparation of Lone Echo 2, the original title is only $10 from the Oculus Store. Lone Echo actually released 4 years ago, but I just recently replayed this game, and it is absolutely amazing. Graphically, not many games can compete, and it's one of the best story-driven campaigns in VR. While this is an Oculus exclusive title, if you don't have an Oculus headset, this game does work well enough with Revive. I've played through it on both an HTC Vive and a Valve Index. While we're on the topic of Lone Echo, we do have the release date for Lone Echo 2, which is August 24th. This will most likely be the last PCVR Oculus exclusive, so it looks like they'll be going out with a bang. While we're on the topic of upcoming games, I do have this week's release schedule, but before we go over that, there's just 2 other titles I want to mention. The first is a demo for the PSVR exclusive Fracked. Fracked is this over-the-top action hero style shooter with surprisingly good graphics and what looks to be a solid campaign. The 30-minute demo that's currently available left me intrigued and definitely looking for more. The graphics immediately stood out, and it reminded me a lot of Borderlands. It's easily one of the best looking PSVR titles I've ever played, and my only disappointment is that PSVR exclusivity. I would love to see this game with a higher resolution headset, and I'm also not a big fan of using the PlayStation VR Move controllers. But it looks like we'll soon have a reason to fire up the PlayStation VR again. And we also got another game announcement from Joyway. This time they're making a roguelite with VR-specific shooter mechanics. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Outlier looks pretty freaking cool, but at this point, I want Joyway to finish one game rather than continually starting new projects. They have 3 games in early access, and they're announcing yet another. This includes Stride, Against, Time Hacker, and I don't think they ever released Brain vs. Zombies. So while they are making some good products, they never finish anything, and it's hard for me to get excited for Outlier. But I am excited for this week's release schedule because it has something for everybody. First on the list is the RPG title, Vengeful Rites. Vengeful Rites has been available in early access for nearly 3 years, and it's now finally getting its full release on July 29th. Vengeful Rites includes a multi-hour campaign, sword fighting, archery, gesture-based spellcasting, and epic boss fights. There's a demo available on Steam if you want to find out if the game is right for you, but if you're a fan of titles like Carnage Chronicles or Vanishing Realms, you'll most likely enjoy this game too. Now, if RPGs aren't your style, we have Wind and Leaves coming to the PlayStation VR on July 27th. In this chill experience, you take on the role of the gardener who has to save the world from a cataclysm by planting trees. It's a unique world-building experience with its own very specific style. Explore the world, find new places to plant your trees, speed up time and watch them grow, and eventually save the planet. I can honestly say I've never played anything quite like this title. Now, another unique game you might want to check out is Arcsmith. Arcsmith is a spatial puzzle title where you're tasked with designing space machinery and other items. The game also promises to deliver a compelling story of friendship and redemption. Arcsmith will be available on the Oculus Quest this Thursday on July 29th. Now, another Oculus Quest title, Zombieland Heat, is finally getting a PCVR release. If you don't have an Oculus Quest and you've been waiting to check out this title, your wait is almost over. On Thursday, July 29th, you can finally check out this on-rails arcade zombie shooter. I've played through the Quest version and I found it to be much better than I expected. It's definitely more casual than I like my shooters to be, but it's definitely a fun shooter nonetheless. The game's all about speed, accuracy, and getting that high score. There's a good amount of strategy, replayability, and upgrades, so if this sounds like something you're interested in, go ahead and check this one out. Okay guys, that was this week's release titles, but before we move on, I have to mention one amazing Half-Life Alyx mod. I've seen countless people ask about playing Portal in VR, and now you can. This is a workshop mod that's currently available for download. It's a work in progress, but it's really more of a proof of concept and definitely not a whole remake of the original Portal game. The developer has included a source pack of reworked or remade Portal 2 assets that allows you to build your own Portal test chambers. And they're currently looking for some additional Source 2 modders to help expand this project. If you're looking for some more information, I will include links down in the description. Okay, so let's move into some hardware topics, and boy am I happy to say that out loud. It's been way too long since I've covered anything hardware related in the new VR news. First up, the company HaptX, which is designing the most advanced VR haptic gloves, has secured $12 million in additional funding. The company also recently released the DK2 version of their existing gloves, and it's a major improvement across the board. These gloves are designed to let you feel the virtual world around you, are packed full with low latency, high precision sensors, and provide up to 40 pounds of resistance per hand. But as you most likely already assumed, this is an enterprise-focused product, and units will be selling for thousands of dollars. So why do we really care? Well, innovation and technology like this generally shrinks and becomes cheaper over time, so there is the possibility we might see a product like this in our homes in 5 to 10 years. The amount of overall immersion that tactile feedback like this could provide in VR would be absolutely amazing. And this is just one more way how we slowly inch ourselves to something like Sword Art Online. But obviously we need to crawl before we run, and that's what the Oculus Quest is currently doing with AR. Unity developers will soon be able to use Facebook's AR API, allowing them to create pass-through based augmented reality applications. We got some recent demos showing how filters could be applied to the current pass-through screen, and Facebook previously gave some examples how this could be useful in a workplace setting. There's currently a ton of untapped potential in AR, everything from enhancing workplace meetings to playing board games, language translations, directions, and anything in between. And now it looks like Facebook is finally breaking into this category. So is 2022 going to be the year of AR? We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Now, an increase in AR might eventually cause a drop in VR, but that's not what's going on right now. The Steam VR player base saw a dramatic drop last month, and there's no definitive reason behind it. Now, statistics from Steam are hardly perfect, and there's always the possibility there is some error here, but it doesn't look like that's the case. It's been multiple weeks, and these numbers have not changed. Now, this is the largest drop in Steam VR players since VR has launched. Now, VR gamers only make up a small fraction of the Steam player base, but in the month of June, almost 500,000 of them went dark. So if this isn't an error or some type of calculation change from Steam, what the hell is going on? I know someone's standing by ready to cue VR is dead, but that's definitely not the case here. And the answer is most likely a simple combination of factors. In June, it starts to get really hot here. I actually installed an AC unit in my basement last year for this exact reason. Between the months of June and August, it was just way too hot to play VR. The US has also finally removed the majority of its COVID restrictions. So now people are once again outside in the real world. It feels great to be able to go out to a bar, the beach, or any other type of social gathering. And finally, there's nothing cool going on for PCVR right now. I guarantee you if Half-Life Alyx 2 dropped today, we would see that player base spike right back up, but we haven't had a truly exciting PCVR launch in quite some time now. I've discussed how these Quest-centric multi-platform titles aren't really living up to the traditional PCVR standards, and many players have just moved on until something new comes along. I mean, this is exactly what I stated in a previous video. VR is currently in a lull. There's nothing overly exciting currently going on, and people have different options on how they could spend their time. It's not doom and gloom, guys. Things will turn around. There'll be some exciting launches. We've been here many times before. It'll pass. Okay, everybody, that was today's new VR news. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. And as always, I will see you guys on next time.